Welcome to the talk show Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. The goal of this show is to provide a learning experience to people of all ages, with guests from various fields in academics, a wide range of industries, and insight into the many forms of art, athletics, and entertainment. We hope you enjoy the show.
One man, one solution, and that solution is Laith Wallschleger. Former NFL athlete, current actor, and stuntman, Laith Wallschleger is today's guest. Laith will talk about his years playing football, as well as his passion for acting and collecting Pokemon cards. Some might say an actor who loves the danger. He enjoys long walks on the beach, Shih Tzus, and Jesus Christ. Coming to you, the one, the only, Laith Wallschleger.
Former pro football player, actor, voiceover artist, stuntman, and more, Laith Wallschleger. Welcome to Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. Thank you for that voiceover. I will not be paying for that gig, by the way.
Could it be me?
Yeah. Outstanding.
Great. No problem. It's on the house, my friend.
Thank you. Laith, based on your resume, which is crazy for someone your age, you should be about 75 years old.
I feel like that sometimes.
Yep. Let's go back in time. How did you first become involved in football, even before you became pro?
Oh, wow. Third grade was my first year. I played for the Braddock Road Youth Club in Virginia. And I remember I was so scared to go to the first day of practice. My friend's dad drove us and I wouldn't leave his van. I cried myself into his arms. I wouldn't go to practice, but eventually I got over it and I guess it worked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you fast forward a wee bit.
Yeah.
And after setting multiple NCAA records at the University of Delaware, you end up in the NFL. So do you remember exactly how you felt the first time you walked onto the field as a professional athlete?
Gosh. Oh, that's a good question. I kind of went in with the mindset of you got one shot. I don't care who is in my way, whether they're a first-round draft pick or a free agent. I am going to beat the crap out of them. That was my mindset going in. And, now that looking back, gosh, I remember in college, so many times I would get in my head and I would build teams and opponents up bigger than me. And really, what I came to realize is that I defeated myself before I even went to the field. So approaching the NFL, I came in with a completely different mindset, and I was just going to dominate. And I played some of my best football there, as brief as it was.
Yeah. That's a heck of a mindset. But what a dream, because people say, I want to be a doctor, lawyer. I can't tell you how many students I've had. I want to be a pro athlete. And I say to them, well, have something to fall back on. But what an amazing thing, because the pressure's on. You have these NCAA records, and now you're in the NFL. And it's great that two things, that you had the mindset, I'm going to dominate, but it's amazing and so important, I think, that you talked about the importance of mindset, because it is so true with all these gurus with mindfulness and positivity and things like that. That when people are in slumps in tennis and professional sports, almost any career, it really is a mindset, and you really have that positive mindset, which is incredible. So let's talk about the transition. It's not uncommon for pro athletes to transition into sportscasting, coaching, other positions in the sports world. But how do you go from lineman to man memorizing lines in television, movies, and commercials?
It was a long road to recoup the brain cells that I had lost over the years, but I think we got a couple back. Mm-hmm. But I had many backup plans when I was at the University of Delaware. From the beginning, I wanted to get my master's degree, and so I redshirted the first year I played there. My head coach tried to play me, and I somehow came late to a team meeting before we were supposed to go on the road and play Richmond. And because I was late, they left me home and they took someone else instead, and that would have burned my red shirt, so I wouldn't have had my fifth year. But that was always the plan, to get my master's degree. I wanted to be like a financial advisor, but that was I think that was plan C. It was NFL. And then if that didn't work out, I wanted to be a voice actor because as you can see, I've always been doing voices and stuff like that. I like playing around. And then after that, do something in finance or whatever. But thankfully, I never got to that last fallback. I went to voiceover class, and then also I got into the entertainment industry pretty much doing stunts on TV shows and movies. I remember my first movie. It was 2016, Jackson, Mississippi. I drove my piece of crap Hyundai from Tampa all the way to Mississippi, slept in my car before the first practice, and met a guy on set, and he let me stay in his basement for a month while we filmed the movie. And I would go to, this is bad, but I would go to hotels nearby his house and just walk in and eat their free breakfast in the morning to save money. I was so freaking broke. But Game Changing Films was the company that gave me my start. They did movies like The Replacements, Invincible, what was it, that hockey movie with Kurt Russell. They did all the sports movies. So they're the ones who gave me my first start. So I owe it all to them.
Wow. So that's incredible. Amazing title of Game Changing.
Yeah. Great.
Especially for you. I mean, it could be named for you, quite honestly. So, I love hearing these stories. I do have some young viewers also, so don't pay attention to going in the hotel for free. Don't try that at home. He's a professional. So that's great. And if you want to know, everybody, how bad that is, you should eat some of those breakfasts. So when they find out what you've been going into eating, oh my God. So I think that's incredible. What a story that, everybody thinks it's all the glitz and the glamour all the time. So it's not, but to go from one thing to another, there is some luck there. There's luck that someone gave you a shot, but if you didn't perform well, you wouldn't have that shot. So you've lived many lives in the body of somebody who's around 32 years old. So what's more dangerous, protecting the quarterback or doing stunts and acting in film and television?
Well, when I played in the NFL, I was going after the quarterback, so I was the danger. But I would say, obviously, the NFL is so uncontrolled. Like every time you step onto the field, it's like you're going to war, essentially. And people compare football games to getting in a car accident, if you will. It's very, very stressful on the body. When we do kind of the football stunts and movies and stuff like that, you're not, unless it's a really big hit where you have to make that collision, which is most likely one of the skill players, like a wide receiver or a DB, you're really not making that heavy a contact. The only difference is when you're running a play in a movie, you're doing that play 100 times from all these different angles on the field. So it can get very repetitive. For example, I did I think it was a Super Bowl commercial. It was with Joe Montana for Guinness, where we had to do a kickoff. And I was on the kickoff receiving team where I had to get pancaked over and over. Literally, no exaggeration. I probably got pushed into the ground probably like 75 times.
Wow.
It was a long night. So like that kind of stuff, it gets a little repetitive, but at least it's more controlled, and you got your buddy who's working with you, so he's not beating the crap out of you. So it's, but I'm also older at this point, you know what I mean? And I don't like recover as I did at the age of 21. But I would definitely say football, professional football, is a lot more strenuous on the body. It's not even close.
I'm sure. Yeah, and some of these stunt things, I wouldn't say violent, but dangerous, and like you said, physically impactful and could be harmful. So it's not an easy gig. I've interviewed some people who just were stuntmen as their entire profession. Very, very, very difficult. I've seen you in a variety of roles, various accents. very interesting. I think one was Irish. I mean, there were so many different ones I saw. So do you just have a really gifted ear, or do you have a dialect coach? Because when you go into it, I know who you are and how you really talk, but after 15 seconds, I kind of forget it's you. And I think character, which I guess you want anyway. But where does that come from?
I don't know. Yeah, growing up, me and my best friend, we were really good at voices for some reason. And we would, I remember when I just got out of football, I was living with my cousin who was in the WWE, and he would literally take us to party with these A-list celebrities as the entertainment, if you will. And we would go there, we'd be his gophers, like we'd get him waters or whatever he needed. And he would take us to these like awesome VIP places that we would never get into if it was just us. And literally we just had to go there and we would do accent roulette, me and my buddy. And we'd rattle off like 20, 30 different accents and like clown around and, just have a good time. And they loved it. And I don't know where I got it from. Maybe I have a decent ear. I would, the people in the native countries would probably turn their nose up at it, but for an American, it's not bad. But I don't know. I've always just had a decent ear to be able to just kind of listen to an accent. We'd watch like Steve Irwin, or I remember Coming to America was one of my favorite movies. Right. Like we'd watch Eddie Murphy go through all those characters. So just kind of picking it up on the fly,
The number of times my wife and I have said to each other, the three putzes, when Murphy did all three, is Mama going to call him Clay? I'm going to call him Clay. I have friends that we do all the time. Aha! So we live for that. So,
the brown boxer!
Yes. Unbelievable. So I have to tell you that, not now, and it's because of the show, but I would easily be considered a celebrity stalker. My God, when I saw them either on Broadway or at the stage door after a Broadway show, or at an event or something, I would really be my jaw would drop. Not so much now because I've spoken to them, and look, as they say, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I do. But well, you said you went to those parties with the A-listers. How did you not go into jaw dropping? Can I have your autograph? Let's take a selfie mode.
Well. That's a good point. I don't know. Just because we were probably because my cousin gave me the spiel before we went in, like, don't do that shit. But
he would body slam you.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything was just so relaxed. Like, people were just having a good time. So nobody really took themselves seriously. And we partied a lot with Rob Gronkowski. So that guy, he loves to goof around. So it wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of egos there. You know what I mean? Everyone was just really fun and just having a good time. So it was kind of easy to just be myself, I guess.
Right. Well, that's incredible. But you mentioned, you have a long history with Rob Gronkowski. But when did you realize that, not that you could just impersonate him or imitate him, but now the cojones to now portray him on FX's American Sports Story? How did that come about?
Again, through game-changing films. Wow. They got me the audition. And I like literally, I don't think they wrote any lines for this guy, because the audition was just act like you're Gronk celebrating with a teammate. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's a walk in the park. So literally, it was a minute tape, and they were like, okay, cool, that's the guy, because they were looking for guys who could at least somewhat act, but also who looked the part of a football player. I mean, like, how many movies have you seen where the football star is like 5'2", you know what I mean? And it just like, come on. So they were trying to get more people who could really fit those roles into play. And, once I got on set, I just embodied him, just because I've hung around him so much. Like, I knew I just let it fly. You know what I mean? You can't have any fear. And I was doing stuff off script, and I was improvising and stuff like that. And they ended up writing me into more scenes in the show. And that's kind of where it came from,
Did you do the laugh in the audition?
No, I didn't even do the laugh in the audition. Yeah, I just I remember I was working on that prior to that scene. Like I wanted to get it down because I had the script and I knew what I wanted to do, and I was like, oh man, that laugh is just so iconic. I got to find a way to slip it in somewhere. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it worked out. And actually, that scene. It was originally supposed to be Tom Brady. Like they reworked the scene. It was Tom Brady and Aaron having that conversation first, and then we ended up reshooting it, and they had me do those lines. So it worked out, man. It was cool, and that's the one that went viral, apparently.
And then some.
Yeah.
Speaking about things that go viral, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it is funny. I'm sure you saw it. I'm a huge Nikki Glaser fan.
Okay.
And I'm guessing you saw her on the Tom Brady roast. And so I wanted on the inside scoop. How did Gronk react when she talked about his fake warning about crypto? Me know that not real money. I mean, that could be the sentence of 2024.
Yeah, no, I think he was just having a good time there. I think what we don't realize was there was a lot of alcohol on stage.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of people were nervous, but I think he was just having a really good time.
Yeah, he's such a good sport. I saw him on an interview with you, and he didn't know you were coming on, and he was introduced, but he didn't come on and do him. You came on and did him, so he was a really good sport. So
yeah, he's great, man.
So we talked about people who only know the glitz and the glamour, and I often, this is like the theme of my show. You have achieved incredible success at a very young age, but on my show, I like to talk about the story behind the glory.
Sure.
So, what obstacles did you have to overcome to get where you are today?
Ooh, obstacles. Well, one thing I want to talk about, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but basically when, someone's been an athlete their whole life and that sport is no longer in play, a lot of people root their identity into what they do, especially athletes. They kind of create this culture of achievement and they feel validated only when they achieve stuff. And when that's taken from you, you're like, all right, where do I go? What do I do? And so I myself fell into a depression after I got cut from the NFL. I tried playing some arena football, but that was a doozy in itself. And I was kind of just trying to find my path. And I always had this innate talent with the voices, and that led to, acting in person. And then that led to going out to LA. I remember spending half of my life savings to go to drama school because I had no idea how to act. I mean, if anything in football, they teach you to mute your emotions. You know what I mean? The only emotions you really know are like rage and more rage.
Yeah.
And rage and compliance,
Yes.
what I mean? And there's not really they don't breed individuality. You know what I mean? You're not doing that deep work to discover who you are and what you like and stuff like that. So I had to do that on my own. And I was just really passionate about using my voice and storytelling and animation and stuff like that. So just kind of navigating that point in my life, starting over, if you will. I mean, I'm sure in your life as well, you've had to start over at some point and kind of pivot and go a different path. So that's one of the biggest things. I would encourage all student athletes, like, you're so young, man, like, get out and discover what you like outside of sports. There's so much left to life, because just looking at the stats, like, I didn't make it on an NFL roster full time. Like, you're talking about the 1% of the 1%, you know what I mean? And there's a reason why NFL stands for not for long. You know what I mean?
Wow. So true.
Yeah.
Incredible advice, really, and liquid gold, I would say. But two things you said that resonated. I'm so glad that you had such passion, but you went to hone your craft. Because I remember I interviewed a couple of years ago Kevin Sorbo, who played the TV Hercules. He was talking about being in an acting class, and he said, you may know these two people. So one was Brad Pitt, and the other was Matthew Perry. And he said, so these people really hone their craft. And he had said at one time, Matthew Perry said, I may be late to tomorrow's class. I'm auditioning for a TV comedy. Hope I get it. And it ended up being Friends. So the fact that they do constantly hone their craft, and even though they have that passion, you have to go and always stay current and get better. But I want to also talk quickly about the voiceovers, because when I wrote a memoir, and I decided to make it an audiobook, and I had a friend who took voiceover classes. Some people think you just have the voice, and sometimes people can do that. But it's not just the voice, it's the inflection. It's the somehow putting your personality into it. Voiceover work is huge. Many of the people that I've interviewed who are in acting or want to get even bigger in acting, they do a lot of voiceover work on the side. Some of them, they end up doing it full time. So I love the fact that you realize that it was that ear, those voice imitations, impersonations you could do that really helped you out. And I have to say that you've been incredibly humble about your success. Did you ever dream you'd be in a movie with legends by the name of Jane Fonda and Sally Field and 80 for Brady?
No, not at all, man. This is God put me on this path for a reason, and it's been incredible, man. They say God will give you more than you could ever want for yourself or pray for yourself, and it's only the beginning. Like, I never could have imagined any of this, getting to meet these people, but it's been really humbling, and it's also been really great, because at the end of the day, I've learned they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just very talented. That's all it is. They're just like us. So it's been, because I remember in the beginning, I was so shy and so just kind of starstruck with these people. But, it's the more you get around it, and the more you get to really meet good, down to earth, celebrities and actors and talented folk, it's really eye-opening, and it's great. I'm blessed, man. Really blessed. Yeah. And I'm very thankful.
Yeah, so true. And I know there's more to come. So we have about 2 minutes left. I want to first ask you, what do you want in 5, 10, 15 years? You want to stay in this business? What do you want to do? Do you want to write, produce, direct? You want to stay in this lane? You want to go, you're a 4-lane guy at least. So what is it you're looking for moving forward?
I'll tell you what I want to do. I'm very passionate about my faith. As you heard I
heard that in the voiceover. The voiceover guy said that.
Yeah, he was right. I love Jesus, man. And really what I want to do is I want to create really gritty Christian content. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that Angel Studios is doing, but I really like their work. I've in my walk in my faith, I've been exposed to heroin addicts, drug dealers, people who have come from very, very difficult pasts. And I've seen their life completely transformed through their faith. So I want to tell those stories in a way that doesn't beat people over the head, and that's not so cookie cutter and cringe, in order to, help and shine a light to those people who might be going through those same situations. And also, I just have this passion to kind of like When a Star is Born, some of those musical scenes. I would love to show a worship service kind of in that light, and just when you get in there, man, and the Holy Spirit is on you heavy, there is I couldn't even begin to describe it. It's insane. So that's kind of the work I want to do eventually. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but He'll make a way.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I've done almost 200 of these, and I would have lost my house betting on what the answer would be. That wouldn't have been it. So yeah. I think that's outstanding and so incredible to pay it forward. So just props to you. But let's close with this question. I'm almost afraid to ask, because I'm doing the math. I don't think you have more than 2 hours a night to sleep with all that you do. But what is next for you?
What is next? I'm working on something. A big commercial is in the works. That's going to be coming out in about a month or so. Mm-hmm. But also, I have a couple new shows coming out. I'm in this show called Paradise. It's on Hulu. trying to spot me in that show is going to be like, where's Waldo? I have maybe 5 lines throughout the whole season, but I'm there. It was great to work with Sterling K. Brown and Julianne Nicholson. They're fantastic. Also did a show called Poker Face. That's going to be premiering in the spring. And then I am in the season finale in one of the biggest shows in the world, and that is debuting this summer. I can't say what show it is, but it's going to be huge. Yeah.
Wait a second. Does that mean you're going to be at the inauguration?
Maybe I'll tune in on
That's going to be huge. Best one ever. Nobody.
Yeah.
Be better. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. What incredible stuff. You have so much, all this stuff you've got. You haven't gotten started yet. You have not gotten started yet. I'm not trying to, put the kibosh on all that you've done, which is enough for people who've been in the business 30 years. But holy crap, your star is definitely on the rise. So, Laith Wallschleger, thank you for joining us today and sharing so many great moments and being the guest voiceover artist to introduce yourself to the viewers. Also, I hope that Laith's incredible experiences have shown you that following your passion is never easy, but it can end up reaping tremendous rewards. Laith, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman. To contact Marc, email him at info@lifestorieswithmarchoberman.com or visit him on social media through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching Life Stories with Marc Hoberman.